to SveNFL.
What is up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Skip me, Sarah.
We're two Americans living in Sweden talking about football.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Glad to be back. Yeah. The draft is upon us. And
oh my God.
we're going to try to find a way to go through this draft without being annoying. This is the hardest thing. It's like prep for the draft without bias, without that favoritism or whatever. It's like it's hard because we all have our agendas.
We do. Yeah. And also, if you're like me, you're a bit of a football junkie. So even when the season is over, you keep listening to all these podcasts, and at this point, I have heard and seen so many mock drafts at this point that they've all lost meaning, more or less.
Yeah, I really hate. I watched Office Space not too long ago, so I'm in Lombard. I'm in Lombard zone right now. Yeah. I need you to not do another mock draft.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So don't
it's
do
fun.
that. So how are we going to do this?
Well, okay. So here's what we're going to do. I decided that I've been looking, the one that I like the most, or the one site that I like the most, is from The Ringer.
Yep.
The Ringer NFL Draft. The thing that I like about it is that besides, there are 3 mock drafts here, so it is what it is. But they also have the ability to kind of filter by position. So I was thinking that instead of going through a mock draft, which is just fucking guessing what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
We could go through it by position, and in the effort to go through it by position and to make it a bit more entertaining, I was thinking we would go from least sexiest position to most sexiest or most sexy,
sexiest.
most sexy, just most sexy or sexiest. Yeah. The position that makes me want to take my pants off, like the Al Green of positions.
My thing was hard.
Exactly.
One of those, man. We got some new stuff on the thing. Whenever I do my thing was hard. That's on the Silverhander soundboard. But
right.
I always think about you when we add to that soundboard because you normally would like this stuff. Have you ever seen the clip of that teacher that got in some hot water? As a white teacher that was refused to not say that said the N-word in class and offended the students?
I don't think so.
But he said it because that's the difference. We're in Sweden. There's this thing going on here about the use of that word, but here there's no cool way. There's no appropriated way to say it, like in America where black people use it as a term of endearment. There's no term of endearment here for it. If you say it in Sweden, then normally
Even black people don't use it.
They don't say it like that, like term of endearment. They don't say like how we do, how we say my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't realize that was the case.
Here, if they say it like that, they say the American way. So they do use it like that.
Okay.
But I'm saying their word is not, you get what I'm saying. But this teacher with a bunch of black students was trying to relate. Have you seen the clip? I'm going to show you sometime. So I just added what he said. He was explaining to a black reporter on the news who had come to him because he's suspended at the time. And she was explaining to him what he was explaining to her. I'm sorry. Why? Like, he didn't think it was a big deal. And part of it, he says,
"Nigga, please."
So she basically showed up and said, here's a shovel. Would you like to dig this hole a little deeper?
And he starts giving examples.
Nigga, please.
That was one. And another one was,
"Can you lend a nigga a pencil?"
Oh, my God. Wow. Wow.
I was dying laughing off of that. So we put it on the, I don't know when we'll ever use the pencil one, but we used the other one quite a lot.
Wow.
I don't know. I just added that. But for us, we got nothing new until the season. But it's time to.
Well, before we get into the only news that we have, which I don't even. It's only one piece of news, and it's significant because in some ways, it's draft related in the sense that it's a draft bust. The New York Jets have traded their former number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson. They've traded him to the Broncos. It's like a late round draft pick swap. And
Broncos, man. Broncos went from Russell Wilson to this,
and the Broncos have agreed. Or no, sorry, the Jets have agreed to pay, I don't know how much, but they've agreed to pay a portion of Zach Wilson's $5.5 million salary.
I think it was 2.5.
Did it come out at – okay.
I saw it somewhere.
Again, Broncos fans, just hang in there.
Hang in there, man.
It's going to be a couple It's going to be a couple of years of pain. You're just gone from Russell Wilson to Zach
Wilson.
Same Wilson. I mean,
same jersey. He can just put his jersey on. He can put the jersey on. They got the same name. There's more news, Schif.
Yes, please tell me some more news.
We lost a former Hall of Famer.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that happened while I was away.
A Hall of Famer died last week, man.
That's true.
You all know and love him.
Some people know him as a popular breakfast beverage.
Yeah.
Some people know him as the guy in the Hertz rental car commercials.
Yep, Isotoner.
Some people know him from the Isotoner glove commercials, which didn't age well, of course.
Some people know him from being a punishing runner.
Correct. Multiple 1,000-yard seasons in a row.
I think he had a 2,000-yard season.
Yeah, despite the fact that they only played 14 games back in his time, which is pretty impressive. Some people know him from the Naked Gun movies. And some people know him because he probably murdered his wife and a waiter who
was wrong place, wrong time.
Definitely in the wrong place at the wrong time. In a trial that essentially was, it's one of those things when you live through it, you didn't know it at the time, but with some distance, that trial really changed America, I think.
Yeah, man. Great documentary on that out there. We're talking about OJ Simpson, if y'all didn't figure it out.
If you hadn't figured that out, you're an idiot. Or you're born too late. Some people are like, what? Some people don't even know OJ played football. They're like, isn't that a guy who murdered his wife? And then later, what was the only thing he actually went to prison for was,
he tried to get his shit back. He met up with collectors in order to try to get stuff. People had gotten his belongings that were, stolen from him, collectibles like signed stuff and stuff like that.
Right.
And he went to get it back, and he was recorded doing it. And they tried to give him 33 years. But he ended up getting 8 years or some shit like that.
Honestly,
he had a gun. He says on the audio, I have the guy's like, you got your gun? He's like, yeah. And then the guy, and then he said he blocks the door. So then they considered it kidnapping. It's a whole bunch. It was like, if y'all want to put him in jail for the murders he did. Right. That's like, don't try to give him 33 years for blocking the door. But yeah, not defending OJ.
What's the name of the documentary? Is it OJ Simpson Made in America? Is that
Made in America? Yeah, OJ Simpson Made in America.
I cannot recommend this documentary more. It's so fucking good. So good.
It's such a it's like a, I don't know what to call it. Like, it's just it grabs, it really unwraps that entire the story of America in the story of OJ so well, man. And it's like, it explained to me why I was feeling how I was feeling.
Right.
And I went to a mixed school. I just talked to Greg. We're doing the basketball podcast now. And he asked me about OJ. He wanted to have like a race relations corner at the end of the episode. So we're talking about OJ. And he went he was in college when the verdict came out, and it was like all white people around him, and they were all like, "How can this happen?" And then they walked outside and they saw a bunch of black people cheering. And I happened to go to a mixed school, so my school, I remember in my class, all the white people being devastated and all the black people jumping up and celebrating, and me not understand. Like, I knew how black people felt about it, but I didn't know that people were like, I'm like, y'all don't hate the criminal system that's been you know what I'm saying? It's like that. But they're like, this guy, and Greg made a good point. He was like, why was I so mad? He's like, I'm wondering why they're so happy. Why was I so mad? I don't know, Nicole. I don't know definitely that. I just think he did. You know what I mean? It's like so much of that stuff. But that documentary helped explain why we felt the way we felt, all of us. So good.
Because
even
in
OJ.
the moment, as it was happening, I think it was like probably the most honest and raw illustration that there was something under the surface that none of us really stopped to think about.
Yeah. So true.
It was, it was revealing. It was a very revealing moment in American history. It was fascinating. But yeah, I would highly recommend this documentary. It's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another football person that's
true. That was a big deal.
a legend in football. I never got to see him play, but he was a legend in football. And I saw there's a thing. Another one I could recommend is NPR did a thing about OJ. Like after it was like it's a OJ prank show that they had. They reran it because OJ passed away. So they were like, this is a thing we did a while ago. So I had heard it before, but I listened again. And there was an OJ prank show, and they talked about how weird of a thing it was. Like, why did we do this? And it was like OJ, like, crazy shit happened. And it's like, you've been juiced. You know?
That's funny. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So we got we're going through positions. It was
your least sexy.
Least sexy to sexy. Okay. Least sexiest to sexiest. Least sexy to sexiest.
Correct. Let's see if you can guess the way I ranked.
All right, I'm going to say least sexy offensive lineman.
Ding.
And then interior defensive lineman.
That's incorrect, but keep going.
Then, but you're not counting all defense, all offense, right? You're not?
Well, let's just say that I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I basically couched it into 5 different categories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we got linebackers.
So one of the positions is on the least sexier side of things, specifically because of this particular year and what's available.
Oh shit! I don't know, man.
So, yeah.
Running backs.
Correct. That's the second. Yeah, that's right above offensive linemen.
Offensive linemen, running backs, and then I'd say linebackers.
The next one is essentially defense: edge, corner, safety, linebacker, and know.
Then,
yeah.
And then we got pass catchers.
Right.
And then quarterbacks. And then,
of course, the fucking
the year.
This
might be 2020 again when we got 4 starting quarterbacks.
So, in a way, it's a little unfair to talk about offensive linemen as being they are the least sexy position when you watch actual football games. That being said, according to all the draft heads, if you need an offensive lineman, this is the year to get one, because there's a lot of them. And there could be a record number of offensive linemen taken in the first round this year, apparently.
Okay.
And there are a lot of guys, obviously, Titans, Bears, Jets, Chargers, Raiders, Seahawks, Steelers, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens, Chiefs. I mean, all of these teams are desperate for a top-tier offensive lineman. In general, the running backs, not a good year for running backs. Most mock drafts most mock drafts don't even have running back coming off the board until the second round.
Damn.
And there's some that don't have a running back coming off until the third round. So it's
okay. Now I see why you put it. Okay.
As far as defense is concerned, this is also not really considered a great year for defensive players. So in a way, if defense is what you need, this is a good year for you because you're probably going to be able to get what you want. The Falcons are the one team that is kind of consistently in almost every mock draft I've seen is the team that it appears to be the first team that's going to pick a D lineman. We have famously not been able to sack the quarterback for about 20 years. So that makes sense. And then of course, wide receivers, now we're taking our pants off here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's quite a few good ones out there, and there's a hot debate about which one's actually the best one.
My thing was hard.
There's some good ones. And quarterbacks, we always seem to do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
Where we talk ourselves.
Do. We talk ourselves into guys, man. But we'll end on that one because that's interesting.
I have more to say about that later. So we can start with the offensive lineman.
Okay.
So most people, he's not ranked as the best offensive lineman here. Most people think the Titans are going to be the first team to take an offensive lineman, and most people seem to think they're going to take this guy named Joe Alt, who played for Notre Dame. This man is...
I'm sorry. I just did for Notre Dame. Hate them.
Yeah. This man is a very large human being. Abnormally large human being.
6'9".
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 6'9", weighs 321 pounds. He runs. Who cares what his 40 is? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. The things they wrote about him that I see is short area quickness.
Yeah.
Skill for a tackle. Smooth footwork, very important. And infinite upside.
Right.
Is the three things they highlight in the scouting report.
Yeah, and they talk about him as because he's so big, it's like, I mean, he's like trying to move a building when you play against him. He's huge.
I worry about their holding up to injuries. I see he's wearing 2 knee braces in the picture.
That always seems to be a problem with offensive linemen too,
Yeah, man, because everybody flying around and stuff in the muck, and then he's such a big.
But one of the upsides with him, one of the upsides with him is that apparently his father also was an offensive lineman at the University of Iowa in the 1980s. He played for the Chiefs for 13 seasons. And he's at the very least in the Chiefs Hall of Fame. So that kind of the guy's he's been eating, living, and breathing this particular position for his entire life.
Warren Sapp calls it bloodline.
Yeah, it is kind of that thing.
He's I'm looking at some stats they have here. He started all 13 games at left tackle in 2022 and finished as a top graded tackle and number 2 offensive lineman overall. That's some praise, and didn't allow any sacks in 406 pass blocks.
That's pretty good.
Dope. And then 03 allowed just 1 on 368 snaps. So he seems durable and effective. So, but
how about can you pronounce the name of this first guy here?
Oh yeah, I got Nigerian roots, man. So
I can't pronounce this.
I can't either, but I'm gonna try.
Do it.
Olumuyiwa Fashanu.
You know what?
Olumuyiwa.
That was good.
Olumuyiwa Fashanu. Penn State. Yeah. It's a good school.
Huh?
It's a pro-ready frame.
Yeah.
He's 6'6", 312. 21 years old. Smooth footwork and refined technique are his 3 highlights here. And and he's not expected to go to Titans?
I don't know where they expect him to go, but Let's see. I don't know where people have him going, but I don't know why everyone. It keeps moving around like what people are saying. That's these stupid. The problem with these mock drafts, they go on for so long and that they keep flipping the guys around, and it just becomes kind of stupid.
It starts kind of stupid.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, the thing, I guess the trend that is, the most interesting is that, as far as the combine is concerned, like these big men are getting faster every year, which is kind of fascinating. And
yeah, but they're not skilled players though.
They're not what?
Skilled players.
No, but what's required of the offensive line in today's NFL is certainly a lot different. Yeah, and all those like swing blocks and that kind of stuff. You really
pulling. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these guys are good at that, and some of them are not.
Yeah,
obviously.
They're pulling tackles now. They weren't pulling tackles when we were kids.
That's true.
They were pulling guards.
Yeah.
I see one guy who stands out, Talisa Fuaga. It's got a Polynesian type name, or what do you call it, Pacific Island name.
Those guys are always in there, aren't they?
Look at that. Short area quickness, smooth footwork, and what's the third? What's the third thing they say about him?
I believe he has that dog in him.
We need a crazy dog bark on the soundboard.
Even though he played for Oregon, he played for Oregon State.
That's crazy that's a thing on there. Got that dog in him.
Well, the other guy, it doesn't say he has that dog in him, but we know he has that dog in him because the next guy is my man, former Bulldog, Amarius Mims, tackle out of Georgia. The interesting thing about Amarius Mims is that he is probably the first guy that we're going to talk about today who his upside is like, the ceiling is like sky's the limit. Mm-hmm. That being said, he only played 8 games last year.
Oh.
So people are a little like the things that you see him do for Georgia when he's on the field were like kind of elite for his position. But at the same time, it's like because of the way they rotate players over there at Georgia, and because a lot of these guys, like, there's so many guys, like, you got to wait your turn to be the guy. You know what I mean? So we'll see. A lot of people really like this guy, but
you see, he turned down $15,000 a month from FSU to stay at Georgia.
I love that. I love him for that.
Yeah, me too, man. Especially when his why is that he promised his mom he'd buy her a house.
Yeah.
So like, that could have helped towards that, and he said, "Nah, I like it. I'm a fan." Now.
Yeah. I mean, he's from Georgia. At one point, he was ranked the number 3 offensive tackle in the country. So he wanted to play for his team. He wanted to play for his guys. He clearly has that dog in him.
Nice.
Let's see. And then the rest of it is like, offensive linemen are kind of like editors in movies.
Yeah, I like this.
They're great when you don't notice them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they're just out there doing their job.
Shout out to Sally Menke. She edited a lot of Tarantino movies, including Pulp Fiction, which you saw last night.
That's true. I did. That's true.
All right. What's the next one? We're doing running backs?
Running backs. We're going to do running backs.
You sound happy about it, man.
Well, I have a take.
A shit bowl brought to you by XLEX.
I have a take that will be consistent throughout this conversation about all the positions, which is I think that the NFL is actually proven to be quite bad at judging talent, oddly enough. So I actually think that because they're saying that this is not a very good running back class, then it might be one of the best ones we've seen in a while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Who was the one that got taken in really early?
Running backs?
Then somebody. Oh, the Lions picked somebody early.
Well, yeah, but we picked Bijan before.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah,
we picked Bijan early, and then the Lions came and picked Jahmyr Gibbs. So
it's like that should show that it's not out of the cards that these guys can be productive for teams.
The running back conversation is so weird right now because the position is so devalued that I think it clouds our judgment, and a lot of this stuff is really. I always think the conversation about when you should pick a player is very strange. It's like, oh, he's a great player. You hear all these people talk about skill position players, and you're like, oh, he's a great player. I just can't accept the idea that you would pick him at 10. Like, that's just wrong. And it's like, well, you either like him or you don't, or you need him or you don't. You know what I mean? It's like the Lions got buried for that Jahmyr Gibbs pick, and clearly that worked out in their favor. So I just think it's kind of dumb. The first guy they have on the board here is cue up the boo birds for you again. Is a running back out of Florida State. I watched this guy play a little bit this year, and he, what his big upside is that he's very good. I think he had the most yards after contact by any running back in college football this year.
They say shades of Kenneth Walker. That's his comp.
I like that. Right. He's he's an explosive back. He's fast too. They tracked him at 22 miles an hour on one touchdown run against Virginia Tech this year.
Damn. He ran a 4.39 in the combine.
Scored 25 touchdowns in the past 2 seasons. He's good, man. He's really good.
I don't think it's gonna work out.
The next guy on the list is the question. Nobody really knows who's gonna be the first team to take a running back, honestly, and it's probably not going to come till the second round. Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. This guy was essentially he was Bijan Robinson's backup last year, or 2 years ago. And then when Bijan left, this guy stepped up. He's pretty good. He's pretty good too. He's no Bijan, but yeah, we'll see.
He went to Texas, right?
Yeah.
Bijan played for Texas?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep. Next up, we got Blake Corum out of Michigan, obviously coming off a national championship. He's pretty small.
He got that dog in him.
He does. He's quite small. He's only 5'8", 205 pounds. He's older too. He's 23 years old.
All these bad signs, man.
The other thing with him too is that I think that he's ranked as high as he is essentially because of the way Harbaugh ran that Michigan offense. He would have games where he would just try to prove a point. Like, we don't need to pass the ball to win football games.
Yeah.
There was one game last year where I think he only allowed his quarterback to throw the ball 10 times. They ran the ball every fucking play almost. So
he's got the most touchdowns in Michigan history.
Yeah.
That's big history.
They just keep giving him the rock. The one guy who I really like in this class actually is the next guy out of Tennessee, Jalen Wright. I got to see quite a bit of him last year, and this dude is pretty fucking smooth. This guy has got a little more of that Bijan vibe to him.
4.38 40.
They compare him to your guy, Raheem Mostert.
I see that. Okay.
League leader in touchdowns last year. Not a big deal.
No,
you know what I mean? Not a big deal. I had him on my fantasy league. Basically won me my fantasy league every week after week. I love that guy. Let's go, Raheem Mostert. The rest of these guys, I'm not going to lie, I've never heard of them. Marshawn Lloyd.
This guy Jalen Wright models his game after Alvin Kamara, so he might want to be a passing game threat.
Oh yeah, he's got those dreadlocks sticking out the back too. So he even kind of looks like Alvin Kamara with a helmet on, of course.
Linebackers, is that what was next? Or no, you packed all the defense in.
Yeah. So I figured we could kind of jump around the defense.
Okay, I pull up the all defense board.
All defense.
Ooh.
You got again. We seem to be going through. Cornerbacks always seem to be in demand. And I have a theory that, in the same way that the NFL consistently misjudges quarterbacks, like the QB position, I think this position gets misjudged quite a bit as well.
Especially
I think it's
where the league is going.
Yeah.
Like it's starting with the cornerbacks now. Instead of building the defense inside out, it seems like teams are starting to build outside in.
And I actually think it's a lot harder to play the position of defensive back than most people realize.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's tough to be a locked on, to sort of reach that level. Let's see. Let's start at the top, though. As far as edge rushers are concerned, a lot of people are talking. It's an interesting debate about this edge rusher out of UCLA, Laiatu Latu.
Damn, he got 4 attributes up here.
Yeah,
I haven't seen 4 on anybody.
Yeah, he also has that dog in him, apparently. The thing with him is that if all you do is just watch the tape from this past year or so from UCLA, this guy looks unstoppable. Like he gets to the quarterback at a ridiculous rate.
Okay.
Problem is he's been around for a while. He's almost 24 years old.
Oh.
He was told that he was going to have to medically retire from football because of a neck.
He's like Jalen Phillips.
Because of a neck injury. I think, was he playing for Washington? He wasn't playing for UCLA when that happened. I think he might have been playing for Washington. And then,
this dude is Jalen Phillips. Like, he's wearing the 15. He went to UCLA. He's a transfer. Went to a different school and was told that he might not be able to play anymore.
Mm-hmm. He got a second opinion.
Oh, shit. Look at his shit. Look at his what you call it? His comp.
Shades of Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's funny.
Wow.
He apparently he has like kind of elite handwork to, in an effort to sort of get around the O-line. I guess that's why they compare him to Jean-Claude Van Damme. But yeah, this medical history, some people are considering a major red flag. It's one of those things we'll just have to see.
Yeah, you got to see, man. I mean, if he's the best edge rusher in the draft, then you need an edge rusher.
Yeah. The best DB in the class is considered to be this guy out of Alabama. Well, it's a bit of a debate, actually, between Terrion Arnold out of Alabama or Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. These two, I've seen a lot of mocks where, these guys, nobody seems to know which one's gonna go first.
No Boo Birds for Alabama?
I have this thing where once they leave, I don't care anymore.
Okay.
Once they're out, unless, of course, if you go from Alabama to like New Orleans,
then it's fuck you.
Once you're out of Alabama, I'm like, you can't hurt me anymore. So live your life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate Tua broke my heart, like hard.
Yeah,
he broke it.
Yeah.
He broke it over his knee.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
And I don't hate him for that. I'm actually one of those people who I defend him more than probably more than I should, maybe. Yeah. So once they're out, I'm like, okay, go do your thing.
Well, this is they got him with coverage chops. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Refined technique, smooth footwork, and coverage chops. That's what they have for Terrion Arnold. But Quinion Mitchell, elite athleticism, coverage chops, and got that dog in him.
That's right.
So that's interesting, the difference. Well, and that's the thing, coverage chops, like being able to play your zone more than be that man guy.
Also, I don't know if this is correct, and I don't know if my feelings could be verified in any way. I guess I could if I looked it up. But if you ask me to choose between two guys who you think are equally as good, I'm going to choose the guy who comes from the lesser school.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Because this is a guy who's got a chip on his shoulder. He plays for Toledo. Nobody fucking cares about him. He's coming into the league. You know, sometimes these players who come in from schools like Alabama or Michigan or Georgia, like, you know, they're being told that they're elite every day of their lives, and then they make it to the NFL, and sometimes they're not ready. Sometimes they're not ready for how hard it is.
Yeah.
Whereas some of these guys who feel like they have something to prove, they work harder.
And they had to work hard to get to the league.
Exactly. So if I think it's harder for a DB out of Toledo to get to this position than it is for an Alabama player. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my money is on Quinion Mitchell. Okay. We have a very interesting, historic first white defensive back to go in the first round in quite some time. I don't know why people keep talking about this, but I don't know. Maybe they talk about it because
when is he going to go? They're predicting
Cooper DeJean out of Iowa is predicted to go in the first round.
Okay.
And it's been a while since a white guy has been this good at.
He's a tall cornerback
at DB. Yeah, he's 6'1", 203.
Young too, 21 years old.
It says here he's elite athleticism, coverage chops, rare versatility, and he's got that white in him. It doesn't say that.
He got that pog in him.
He's got that white privilege in him. Another edge rusher that everybody's talking about. This is the one that I see the most mocks have this guy being the first guy to go off the board to the Falcons is Alabama edge rusher Dallas Turner.
Okay.
It keeps flipping back and forth between Dallas Turner and Latu as far as the first edge rusher. This guy's obviously he's kind of I think they lined this guy up. I think that Alabama was using this guy kind of the same way the Cowboys use Micah Parsons.
Okay.
They kind of sometimes they line him up on the edge, sometimes they line him up at linebacker. But he's a pretty good game wrecker. I think he had 10 sacks last year by himself, which is pretty good. They don't play as many games in college as they do in the pros. Next up, we have, just as far as names are concerned, Chop Robinson. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
He was nicknamed Pork Chop because he was 11 to 12 pounds at birth.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Pork Chop.
Yeah. Pork Chop.
How big are their pork chops? I'd call them like turkey or some shit. Call them Turk. Pork chop. Look, 11-pound pork chop. What the hell? Meatloaf seems more appropriate.
Yeah. Another guy who's getting a lot of attention is edge rusher out of Florida State, Jared Verse.
Boo.
Very fat. Yeah, again, boo. Very fast.
6'4"?
Very big. Yeah. He's got that bulldozer power, they say.
A 4.58 40. Wow.
We have another funny nickname. We got
Kool-Aid linebackers at all.
We got Kool-Aid McKinstry, defensive back out of Alabama.
Stop it.
I think I would like to see him do what Sauce. I had a lot of respect for Sauce Gardner. When he got drafted, he refused to use he said, I need to earn this name. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm not going to come into the league and have everybody just expect to call me Sauce. Like I gotta re-earn that shit.
He earned that shit.
And I would give the same advice to Kool-Aid.
He was nicknamed Kool-Aid by his grandmother because he came out smiling, and he signed an NIL deal with Kool-Aid as a freshman.
That's hilarious.
I'm rooting for Kool-Aid, man. He got it. It's got to work. You're not working at a bank. We're going to have Kool-Aid help you out with your loan application. Kool-Aid, can you come in here?
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. We got another edge rusher, Darius Robinson out of Missouri. I would expect to see a lot more players entering the NFL out of Missouri. This team, they play in the SEC. They've been bad for a long time, but for the last 2 years, Missouri has been on the rise. Great defense. They have an amazing field goal kicker. Out of Missouri.
I can't wait to dive into kickers.
I know it's weird. I wouldn't normally bring it up, but this guy, he's kind of chunky, like Fat Randy.
It. Yeah,
he's a little chunky like Fat Randy, so he puts all of his weight into it. This guy, he kicks some very long field goals in college. Who else do we have?
I want to say something. There's only 4 linebackers total in these top 100 players.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, man. And the first one is ranked 38, and that's Junior Colson. Because we haven't talked about any linebackers yet.
Yeah.
Man. So and he's out of Michigan, so it might be somebody that gets plucked and taken over to the Chargers, right? That's where Harbaugh's at, Chargers, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the Chargers are going to do. Because they need offensive line help to protect Justin Herbert, but they also need wide receivers because they basically just got rid of their whole wide receiver room. So nobody really knows what they're going to do.
And another linebacker I wanted to look at real quick is Edgerrin Cooper, because the name Edgerrin, like I'm wondering, was he named after Edgerrin James, like the player from the University of Miami that was with the gold teeth, played for the Colts, had an illustrious career in the NFL?
That's a good question.
I don't see any info on that, but yeah, Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M. That's somebody I would look out for, just because. The
other guy to look out for is my man, former Bulldog Javon Bullard. He lines up. He's technically a safety, but the thing about Javon Bullard, and obviously having watched a lot of Georgia football, this guy lines up all over the fucking field.
It says that he experienced playing all over the secondary. This is the first Georgia Bulldog that has been marked as got that dog in him, by the way.
It's very strange to me. But the thing about him is that when you watch him, like he's not that big. They'll line him up deep,
5'10".
But sometimes they also line him up like right behind the linebacker. And this guy, if you're a running back and you make it to the second level, be prepared to meet Javon Bullard, because he covers the field. He covers, you know how like we talk about good linebackers, like they can go sideline to sideline. This guy covers the field like a linebacker. And I can't tell you how many times, I'm pretty sure he led the Bulldogs in tackles as a safety.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this motherfucker, he's small, but he packs a real punch when he hits people. And he hits clean. Nice. He's just really, he's one of, sometimes you see those players like they just know how to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Maybe he'll be like a nickel end up being like a good nickelback in the league. You can go far playing that position. Because the league needs. I mean, you need this. Most teams, their base is now a nickel defense nowadays. So you got 5 defensive backs on the field.
100%.
Let's hit some offense, man.
Yeah, let's get out of the defense. Who we got next? Oh, now we're getting
Pass
sexy.
catchers.
Let's get to pass catchers. Let's go. All right. So the
bloodline.
Speaking of bloodline, the number one pass catcher, which everyone appears to be in agreement with, except for, I noticed since we started doing this podcast, everyone agrees on just about everything until about a week before the draft. Right? And then people just start being contrarian, I guess, just to be, I don't know, just to get attention, I guess.
Yeah.
For almost the entirety of this process, Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State has been considered the number one pass catcher in this class.
He didn't play the game, though. He didn't do the... He didn't do the combine and all that stuff.
He has not done
or pro day
any of the testing, not at the combine or the pro day. You're correct. And he basically said,
"Do your homework.
Watch the tape.
Yeah,
I can catch the football."
Love it. I love it. And his dad was notorious for. It says sure hands as one of his attributes. His dad was known for some good hands too, as far as boxing. Hands like lightning, they said, when he beat somebody up.
Yeah, he's amazing. I saw him. I didn't see him play a lot, but I did see him. Yeah, I did see him lose to Georgia in the college football semifinals last year.
You mean junior? Okay.
Yeah. This guy, you watch the tape and this motherfucker, he's out here mossing dudes on the regular. He's quite tall.
Did you see what they said, his comp?
Like if Marvin Harrison Sr. had a really tall son.
Whoa, he does. It's him.
That's funny.
That's good. 14 touchdowns, man. Man, I'm looking forward to watching him play.
Who's number 2 on this list?
Uh-oh.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
A tight end as the second best pass catcher in this class? I know you got your finger on the grapefruit.
Yeah, man.
Talk about my man, former Bulldog, Brock Bowers.
Oh, I forgot to turn the volume.
Okay, look. Now, I realize that everything I'm going to say about Brock Bowers is going to be perceived through this, like, Homer
got the dog
lens. He has that. He has 4 things, right? He's got 4 attributes: instinctual playmaking, short area quickness, rare versatility, and he has that dog in him. If you go watch this dude's tape, this is one of the best players that the University of Georgia has had, probably in my lifetime.
Oh wow!
And the way they use him the same way that the 49ers use Deebo Samuel. They'll line him up out wide. They'll line him up in the slot. They'll use him on jet sweeps. This guy is a monster after the catch. There's this one catch that they keep replaying over and over. That's just, like, you almost have to watch it in slow motion to understand it, because it doesn't make sense the first time you see it. And it's against Florida. The pass is underthrown and it gets tipped. It should have been intercepted, but it gets bobbled like 3 or 4 times, and he actually has to turn around as he's running, and somehow he still manages to catch it and then runs it in for a touchdown. The guy's he's just different.
You think he's going to translate to the pros?
Well, that's what I was going to say. My only concern, and this is true for most of these players, especially the skill players, they have to. I think a lot of the reasons why some guys don't work out is they just don't land in the right place.
Yeah, definitely.
And some of the mocks I see, like, I've seen him mock to a lot of different places. In some cases, Obviously I saw him mock to the Saints. I'm not here for that at all. I also saw him mock to the Broncos, which I would not be excited about either. But when you start to see where, okay, the Jets is probably the one team that I've seen the most, because the Jets are picking around 10.
I think go that high?
Some people think so. I think it would be stupid I think the Jets need an offensive lineman. I mean, they got a 40-something-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. They need to protect this motherfucker. The one that I think would be the most fun, I've seen him mock to the Bengals.
Okay.
That would be fun to me. He would essentially be a replacement for Tyler Boyd, who left in free agency. And a lot of people think that what's the other guy's name? I can't think of his name. I'm getting to that age where it's like I know what I want to say, but as soon as I want to say it, it's like it flies out of my head.
It just abandons you.
T. Higgins. Sorry. A lot of people think that T. Higgins is going to leave after this year. He really is. It's unfortunate because I feel like not really.
Okay.
He's better at it. He can, but he's not great at it. He's there to catch passes, 100%.
Okay. So it's like Mike Gesicki, but smaller.
Yeah, maybe.
Who do they? Shades of Dallas Clark, but it sounds like you're describing Mike Gesicki, who's a tight end in name only.
Unfortunately, I think Kyle Pitts. Was it Kyle Pitts' fault? It was Arthur Smith's fault for taking Kyle Pitts so high, right? It was this conversation about Kyle Pitts being a unicorn, right? And then Arthur Smith didn't really use him the way that he should have. And that kind of tainted the conversation about tight ends for a while. And then last year along comes Sam Laporta, and now we're back. We're back at, hey, a tight end can change your team. Obviously, you got Travis Kelce. A lot of people are saying that this guy, I think people are afraid to compare this guy to Travis Kelce, but the reality is that if he can wind up in the right place, he can be a Travis Kelce type difference maker for a team, because he's absolutely been that for Georgia. He's been lights out. So he's the one I'm most excited about in the entire draft, to find out where he winds up.
You know what I like?
Tell me.
Pass catcher. Malik Neighbors, man.
This dude is so good.
I can't wait to see that. He's supposedly got that dog in him. Elite athleticism, infinite upside, and field tilting speed, even though he didn't run in the combine. I love that they're like, fuck that. You know what I mean? But
I do too. A lot of people are saying that Neighbors is better than Marvin Harrison Jr.
And when he found out that Harrison won the Biletnikoff Award, or however you say that, he tweeted out the disrespect.
Right.
Remember that. So disrespectful is what he wrote.
Yeah.
Oof. I love it.
The other one who got a lot of attention was Rome Odunze out of Washington.
Of course. Yeah.
This guy too, and it's also partly because of the way they ran that offense in Washington. It was very much Michael Penix, air raid, deep shots, beautiful long passes into a bucket. He's just a strong pass catcher. Very, very fun player to watch. I think whoever gets him is going to be very happy with him. They compare him to Devontae Adams, so that's nice.
Wow.
He's pretty good at football.
Is LSU going to have any receivers left like this year?
They say LSU always has receivers.
Yeah.
That's like
they're like Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington too. It looks like Washington lost a lot, but they were all seniors, huh? Washington's guys.
Yeah. Because they got the other guy is Brian Thomas Jr., also out of LSU.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Very good receiver. The next two guys on the list also obviously interested in finding out where my guy, former Bulldog Ladd McConkey, this is a very interesting player. He's one of those guys. You know, sometimes you go to the combine and there's those players who always kind of shock people. This guy was one of those. He only scored two touchdowns last year because he was injured for most of the year. But the year before, this dual threat that Georgia had between Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers was like, it's just brutal. Like they were just punishing guys with just they would run the ball and then they would hit McConkey or Bowers, and then it was just fucking lights out. This guy is so quick. I think people were shocked at how good of a route runner McConkey is. Right? So in this class of receivers, they were like, holy shit, this guy is twitchy. Like, who is this guy? Like, I don't think a lot of people really paid much attention to him coming into the combine because he was injured for half of the year. But he is a very, very good wide receiver that I think he's the one that I think will surprise people the most once he gets into the NFL.
I don't know, man. I see all these injuries.
True. That's a concern.
It's weird. Definitely he ran a 4.3940, which is really fast.
Yep.
Very fast. And it's his what they put for why he could fail is he lacks elite top end speed and size.
Right.
That's weird to say that.
He runs, his routes are so smooth and so twitchy. This will be the part that'll be interesting to see if it translates to the NFL. Generally, he's probably not the best contested pass catcher in this class. He's used to catching the ball when he's wide open because he just fucking burns dudes. Whether he'll be able to do that in the NFL remains to be seen.
I'm gonna keep an eye on the lad. Keep an eye on the lad.
Now, when it comes to contested pass catchers, the next guy, Adonai Mitchell. Now, it says that he played for Texas, but don't get it twisted. This man won back-to-back national championships with the Georgia Bulldogs. And he only left Georgia. He only left Georgia to do his senior year, his junior. He only left because, he caught like some crazy key touchdown passes in the national. There's no way he was definitely part of the game plan in Georgia. I think the only reason he left and went to Texas is for money. I think he got an NIL deal and just said, "Nah, I'm going to go. I got more money over here." So he left. This man can catch a pass with a piano falling on his head. It's crazy. I've seen him do it. It's he's I don't know why it doesn't say he has that dog in him because he some of the passes that he caught for Georgia in the run of the national championships were just ridiculous.
I mean, running a 4.3440 is insane.
Yeah. This he's going to make somebody very happy.
I hope so.
Fastest guy at the combine, Xavier Worthy. He's pretty small, 5'11", 165 pounds.
Damn. 4.21.
But he ran the fastest ever. As it's the fastest ever. He broke the 40 record at the combine this year.
God damn.
Being a small receiver is not really a problem anymore.
The field is kind of spread out now.
Yeah. I mean, these little guys are taking over the league.
Yeah, man.
Like, legit. So, I'd be worried about injury because he's so small, but as long as he just stays fast and they can't catch him, he should be.
His vertical jump is 41 inches.
That's crazy.
And broad jump 10, was that
10 foot 11 inches.
God,
almost 11 feet. That's pretty crazy. Let's see.
Jeez. He killed it at the combine.
He did, but we'll see. It doesn't always translate to the NFL.
No, of course not.
I think the combine's kind of dumb, actually.
It is. I agree.
Let's see, what other exciting names do we have? We got Troy Franklin out of Oregon.
One last thing with this guy, Xavier Woods.
Oh, yeah?
Have you seen his 4 attributes?
Field tilting speed, field tilting speed, field tilting speed, field tilting speed.
That's funny.
Can he catch?
I know, right?
I might have wanted to put that in there.
Yeah. Who else you want to talk about? Pass catchers, or did you want to go into quarterbacks?
Let's see. Are there any other ones?
I've noticed no Miami players. It's really bothering me.
Yeah, that's weird. We haven't talked about.
I see some Florida State.
Okay, the one pass catcher. You and I have talked about this privately, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a prediction.
Okay.
That there's a guy on this list who I think will go in the second and maybe even the third round. You know, there's always like that one receiver. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
After 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
After a couple of years, you're like, how'd that guy go in the third round, bro?
Yeah. Who
DK Metcalf was one.
Mm-hmm.
Did Amon-Ra St. Brown? Did he go in the second round?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wasn't the first round.
I think he did. I think he went in the second round too. What about my man, former Bulldog George Pickens? I think he probably went in the second round too.
Yes, he was another Steelers.
Yeah. I think the guy who's going to shock everybody, who's going to go in the second or third round, is this dude out of Western Kentucky, a wide receiver named Malachi Corley. Now, he's only 5'11", 215 pounds. But when you watch this dude's tape, no shit, this motherfucker, he looks like the second coming of Deebo Samuel. He plays just like him. You just cannot. This guy can catch.
What was Deebo Samuel drafted at?
There's no way he was drafted in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's another.
No way.
I was going to mention that name when you were going.
This guy, they use him a lot cutting across, like on crossing routes. And it's like, if you hit this man in stride, forget about it. He's so good. He's so much fun to watch. Watch this. Go out and watch Malachi Corley. Watch this guy's tape. He is going to be. I think he's going to be the surprise second, third round guy.
Okay,
everyone's going to be like, man, how did we not know that this guy was this good?
Oh, I love this, man. He's only got 2 bullet points: too short, quick area quickness, and rare versatility.
I'm telling you, if he winds up in the right spot, that guy's going to be dangerous.
Uh-oh. I hope Steelers go ahead and listen to this because they always get the surprise.
Yeah.
If they do, then you're onto something.
Huh?
If they trade up to get him, you'll be like, oh, see, told you. All right, let's do it. What everybody's been waiting for.
All right. The pants are unbuttoned, and now they're coming off. We're going to talk about quarterbacks.
My thing was hard.
Probably the least interesting thing to talk about is what everybody at this point assumes is a given, is that Caleb Williams out of USC is going to go first overall to the Chicago Bears. The Bears.
Do you think that's good for him?
Well, normally I would say no, but given what the Bears have done in their offseason, I don't think a number 1 overall pick. I don't know the whole history, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better situation. Because normally, if you're the number 1 overall pick, you're going to a bad football team.
Right.
The amount of shit that the Bears have done in the offseason.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a situation where the number 1 overall pick has landed in a better place.
I think Andrew Luck got a good deal.
Probably, yeah.
Because Manning got hurt, and then the team just fell apart because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, also, part of this is because, the Bears have the number 1 overall pick, not because they were the worst team in the league. It was because of the trade they made the year before.
Right, the trade, yeah, exactly.
And so they had Carolina's pick, which they turned out to be the worst team in the league. So there's that. But then they went out and loaded up with wide receiver talent. They loaded up with some new free agents on the defense. I just think the Bears are going to be. I think the Bears could have a pretty quick turnaround if this guy turns out to be what everybody says he is. Now, for those of you who don't follow college football, Caleb Williams, a lot of people don't like to compare him to Mahomes because it's like Mahomes is so good. But if you watch Caleb Williams play, it's really difficult to not compare him to Mahomes. He does a lot of the same kind of stuff. He's he can play in structure, but he's also very good at playing out of structure. And probably one of the best things about him is that even when he has to scramble to kind of reform the pocket, he never takes his eyes off of the receivers downfield. A lot of these guys,
unlike Justin Fields,
exactly. A lot of these guys, and this is one of the knocks on one of the other quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, is that he basically counts to 3, and if nobody's open, he's gone. He's run, right? Williams never takes his eyes off downfield. The downside to Caleb Williams is that because he's so talented, there isn't a throw that there's not a single throw that he doesn't think that he can make. So,
in his own way.
He hangs on to the ball for a long time sometimes, and we know what happens if you're that kind of player in the NFL. That could really blow up in his face. But as long as they can keep him protected, I think he should be fine. And he's a good quarterback. I think you'd be hard pressed to imagine that this guy would be a bust.
Listen to this thing they wrote about him. Just about every piece of analysis on this year's quarterback class has Williams as the best of the bunch, and you'll find nothing different here. Williams is the most accurate quarterback in this class, and when you consider that in the context of his underwhelming supporting cast, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've ever charted.
Right. Well, so the interesting thing about him is that he has been the presumptive number 1 overall pick for about 2 years.
Yeah, till next week.
So
till tomorrow, right?
2 years ago, he played with a very good USC team. They were a great football team. Last year, and this almost solidified his draft stock because last year his offensive line was terrible. So he really had to carry the team on his back, and it made him look like the great quarterback that he is. So I don't see a scenario where he is not who we think he is, to be honest. I think he's the real deal.
I think he's better than Bo Nix.
Oh, my God. Don't even get me started on Bo Nix. So one thing that I wanted to sort of plug in here before we keep talking about these quarterbacks, this to me is interesting to remember when we could talk about quarterbacks in the draft. I read this yesterday. Since 2011, this is the year the NFL changed the collective bargaining agreement to set the wage scale for rookie deals, which made it really affordable to draft a quarterback. Yeah. Okay, so since 2011, NFL teams have drafted 41 quarterbacks in the first round. As a group.
Since 2015?
Since 2011, sorry.
2011.
As a group, they have lost more games than they've won. Okay? 1,047 wins, 1,057 losses, and 7 ties. Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback on this list that has led his team to a Super Bowl. 13 of these quarterbacks are still in their rookie deals, so that's like kind of it's like a wait and see thing. But only around 35% of these quarterbacks were given a second deal with the team that drafted them.
Wow.
Most were cut, traded, or watched their rookie deals expire, right? I'm talking about guys like Tim Tebow, E.J. Emanuel, Paxton Lynch, Trubisky, Johnny Manziel. So guys like Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are really the exception to the rule. And yet every year, and I guess in some ways you got to hand it to the NFL media because every year they blow so much smoke up all of our collective asses with this whole generational quarterback narrative.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just not it's just not real.
Damn.
So, and I would say that Caleb Williams is the only quarterback that we're going to talk about today that I'm convinced just can't be a bust. It just can't happen. So, which brings me to the next guy, Drake May. A lot of people are debating who's better, Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I personally think it just depends on what you're looking for. Drake May to me is more of like kind of a traditional NFL quarterback. Tall, white, pocket passer. You know what I mean?
They say his comp is Justin Herbert, so we understand which.
Yeah, and he's a good quarterback who plays for a bad team. North Carolina, not a traditional college.
They're getting better.
Powerhouse.
They be beating our ass every time we play them.
I mean, they have gotten better for sure. I've seen this guy mocked all over the place. You know, I mean, the top picks you obviously have. Most people, Washington Commanders are picking second overall. Nobody knows what they're going to do.
No.
Some people think they like Daniel. Some people think they like May. A lot of people think the Patriots are picking third. A lot of people are thinking the Patriots would love it if Drake May fell to them because that's exactly the kind of quarterback they're looking for.
We don't know what Gerard Mayo's offense is supposed to look like.
No, we don't. And I think, and that's a good point that you bring up because I think that a lot of people are still stuck in the Bill Belichick mind. They still don't understand what the Patriots are post-Belichick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're still going off of all of the old assumptions. But Drake May is, we'll see. A lot of people compare him also to Josh Allen, right?
Jaden Daniels?
Drake May. A lot of people compare Drake May to Josh Allen in the sense that he's got a big frame, he's not afraid to run, but he also has some accuracy issues. So to me, Drake May could be our next conversation about Fool's Gold. Honestly, well, I'm not sure.
Okay.
As far as Jaden Daniels is concerned, quarterback.
Josh Allen went on to be one of the success stories from that time frame that you were talking about. The quarterback
True.
To the second contract.
But I don't – yeah, agreed. Yeah, for sure. You'd have to consider him compared to those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
But as you know, the Fool's Gold conversation is ongoing.
It's going to be reborn this year is my prediction.
It's ongoing in your eyes. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
As far as Jaden Daniels is concerned, this guy is more of a kind of they compare him to RG3.
Yeah.
But he's again, like I said, he's a very good passer. He extremely good. But at the same time, he's maybe has a little too much Justin Fields in him where if he can't see what he's looking for, or if he can't find what he's looking for, he's going to take off and run. And sometimes when he takes off and runs, he's going to have to learn. He's going to have to learn to slide. He's going to have to learn his limitations essentially, because there's a lot of tape out there. And I remember watching him live where he would make some really goofy decisions where he would try to, instead of going out of bounds, he would try to go head to head with a linebacker who's chasing him down, and he would just get lit the fuck up. He plays with a lot of reckless abandon, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
And he's going to have to learn his limitations once he gets to the NFL.
It looks like the review they wrote at the end of this says basically like boom or bust. Like he's going to have to land in a good spot, man, with a good coach. So good luck to him.
I really think that to me his ceiling is Lamar Jackson-esque,
Mm-hmm.
and his potential floor could be sort of like Justin Fields. Like, he has so many like unique talents,
Yeah.
but he just can't put them all together.
Yeah, he had great
for a
highlights.
full 4 quarters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really think that could happen to him. The next one is J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan. This is the one that has me the most puzzled.
I was not impressed when I watched the championship game, man.
I truly don't. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, obviously, I think he gets a lot of attention because of the whole Michigan Harbaugh thing. I mean, he only threw 12 passes in that national championship game. They just didn't really ask that much of him. Now, when they do ask him to do something, he does it pretty well. So he, again, it's interesting that they compare him to Kirk Cousins, because I think that's kind of a fair comparison in some respects, because it's like, I think J.J. McCarthy, more than any of these quarterbacks, man, it really depends on what kind of system you put him in, right? This guy really is. I guess it's fair to call him a system quarterback. Like, a lot of people think the Vikings are probably going to try to trade up in the draft this year to get a guy like J.J. McCarthy, because you put him in that. You put him in that McVay Shanahan system, and it's probably going to work out fine for him. But if you put him on a team where you're going to have to put the team on his back, it's not going to work. I'm not impressed. I don't think he's going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. That would be my guess. I think he'll have.
You got a lefty.
Oh yeah. This guy, this one will be fascinating too, because a lot of people don't know what to do with Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. First of all, he's a lefty, which is weird. People always have like a weird left-handed bias. He's also
24.
He's going to be 24 years old when the season starts. There is an enormous amount of red flag injury concerns. I think he's had 3 season-ending injuries in his college career. Both knees, at least once. So that's a real issue that's going to cause him to fall. A lot of people are predicting that the Raiders are going to pick him. Like that, he'll still be sitting there on the board for the Raiders to take him in the first round. I can't remember where the Raiders picked, but it's like somewhere outside the top 10. And he reminds me of a Raiders quarterback, or at least the Raiders that I grew up with, the ones that, where it's like, we're going to throw a fucking 60-yard pass on 1st and 10 on the first play of the game. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's got a very sexy deep ball. I'll say that.
4,900 yards passing. Jeez.
Yeah. A lot of deep balls.
Of the top 6 quarterbacks I charted this year, Penix comes out looking the worst.
Right. Well, again, the thing that's scary about him, and you and I have talked about this quite frequently, what's considered an open receiver in college football looks very different from what an open receiver looks like in the NFL. This guy is used to throwing to guys who are like 5 to 10 yards wide open. That doesn't mean he can't drop it in a bucket. He really can, but it's just going to be.
They're knocking him on stuff like throwing people open and like throwing people safe, like from away from danger and injury, and they're saying that that's where he lacks.
It's going to be an uphill climb for him. Again, like I said, he's pretty old. Right. Pretty old for a rookie, and he has some big time. His injury history is very concerning. I think. I would not take him in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if he falls to the second round, unless the Raiders just do something crazy, which just happens. with the Raiders.
I always root for the lefties, man. Something different.
Bo Nix, I think, to me, Bo Nix is probably, you want to talk about fool's gold. Let's talk about Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix I watched Bo Nix play. Bo Nix used to play for Auburn. And every year when we played Bo Nix, when Georgia would play Auburn, it didn't matter. He's shifty. Like he's, if he can't find an open, this guy can run. He's got some Josh Allen in him too, But the other thing that he has is a tendency to throw a lot of interceptions.
Oh, really?
I was never worried about playing against Bo Nix because it was like, you know what? It's fine. They scored the first touchdown. He's going to throw a pick six before it's all over. And he would. He did it a lot. Now, he did not become a good quarterback until he transferred away from Auburn and started playing for Oregon. And he also did not really become a good quarterback until the coach of Oregon was the former offensive coordinator for Georgia Bulldogs. So that's do with that what you will. But this guy is the ultimate boomer bust. I think he's going to be a hot mess. To me, Bo Nix is this year's Will Levis. He's this year's Will Levis. I think.
But the jury's still out on Will Levis.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Are you convinced of what he is?
I don't think Will Levis is. I don't think Will Levis is a good quarterback.
Okay.
I really don't. It's going to be fun to watch Bo Nix because I think he's. I think he's going to come back down to earth. I think he had a great time playing at Washington after having a real rough go at Auburn, and I think in the NFL it's going to all fall apart.
It's like, man, you thought the SEC was bad.
He's going to get exposed. And also, the big – he also 24 years old. I think the reason why these older quarterbacks coming into the draft get so much criticism is like, well – yeah, you had a good season. You're 24. You're playing against 19-year-old kids.
Yeah.
If you're not smoking them on the regular, then we're not even talking about you. You know? So we'll see what he does when he has to go up against grown-ass men.
Exactly.
Spencer Rattler, again, some people are calling this guy a dark horse quarterback out of South Carolina. Used to play for Oklahoma, I think.
Is that what it says? Shades of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he transferred out of Oklahoma because he couldn't win the starting job. Who was he playing with then? I think Kyler Murray took the starting job away from him.
Well, that'll do
it. This guy too, never played him a lot. He plays for the South Carolina Gamecocks. I was never worried about playing against Spencer Rattler because you knew he was going to make a mistake at some point. He throws a lot of questionable passes, I would say.
Man, they didn't even do a breakdown of his. He didn't even make it to get broken down. By Ben Solak. He didn't even waste his time. Yeah, I'm not wasting my time either. We'll see what happens. I doubt he's going to do anything but back up and maybe be in the UFL.
Yeah. I mean, so just as a rundown of the top 10 at least, obviously, like we said, we think the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams. Washington Commanders is basically a coin toss between Jaden Daniels and Drake May. Most people are convinced that the Vikings.
So they think it's going to be top 3 quarterbacks?
It could be top 4, actually.
Come on.
Most people are convinced that the Vikings are going to trade up with either the Cardinals, who are picking at 4, or the Patriots, who are picking at 3. This one that I'm looking at now has the Vikings trading up with the Patriots so that they can take Drake May. And then they have the Broncos trading up to get McCarthy.
I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad if I was a fan of a team that was picking in the top 5 and it didn't take advantage of these tackles. I mean, these offensive linemen or like something like Marvin Harrison Jr. is out there.
Yep. Oh, well, a lot of people think the Cardinals are probably going to take Marvin Harrison Jr., assuming they don't trade back. The Chargers are expected to be the first team to take a tackle, although if you see a situation, things can happen really quick in the first round. If the Cardinals were to trade back with a team that needs a quarterback, and suddenly you got Marvin Harrison Jr. just sitting there, and you're the Chargers, and you don't have any receivers, you might have to take him, even though you want to take a tackle. It's like I don't know if you have any choice.
Yeah,
you'd be an idiot not to take him. So that's going to be juicy. I'm actually considering staying up to watch the first round. It could be really fascinating.
I might do that too.
At 6, you got the Giants. Definitely going to take a receiver. A lot of people think they're going to take Malik Neighbors. That would be huge for them. I don't think anybody questions the Tennessee Titans taking a tackle. They're doing that for sure. The Falcons are picking at 8. I've seen Byron Murphy. I've seen Dallas Turner. I've seen these two DBs that everybody's talking about. I'd be surprised. This would be the first time in a long time the Falcons have not taken an offensive skill position player in the first round, and it's about damn time. Like we gotta get to the quarterback. And then Colts, obviously they got them taking a receiver because they don't have much
9.
there. And then the first time we see the idea of Brock Bowers coming off the board is at 10 to the Jets. I don't think I think the Jets should take an offensive lineman.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Brock Bowers, you could see Brock Bowers is the one that when you listen and all these mock people, they all talk about Brock Bowers as that fun. Everyone's waiting to see where he's going to go off the board because he's like that fun player that everybody wants.
Yeah.
But most teams have other needs that are probably more important than a pass catching tight end. So whoever takes Brock Bowers, I think that pick will be one of the most talked about picks in the first round. I think.
Be fun to see, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's the top 10 there. I like that. It's going to be interesting to see the domino effect if a team does trade back.
You guys don't have a first round pick?
No. We got, I think because of Tyreek Hill or one of these trades.
No, but isn't it still?
Oh, no, we're in there. We're in the first round. We're late in the first round. We're 21. That was last year we didn't have a first round because of Tyreek Hill. This year we're number 21.
But
last we had an issue with Stephen Ross got in some trouble too. So we lost
Stephen Ross.
So now we're 21st.
What are you? Okay, I'll ask a question. We talked a lot about the Bulldogs and the Falcons, but we haven't talked about your Dolphins. What do you hope? So if you don't, the fun part about the draft for us over here, if you don't stay up to watch it, which most of us who are listening to this are probably not going to stay up to watch it.
Yeah.
The fun part is that Friday is a little like Christmas. You get to wake up and see.
Open your presents, yeah.
Watch
video, watch clips of the player. Yeah, that's what
did Santa get me? Right? Yeah. So in that scenario, when you wake up on Friday morning, if you don't stay up and watch the draft, what do you hope Santa got you for the Dolphins?
I hope we get a future Hall of Fame offensive lineman. I want a boring ass fucking big ass something to fill up the line. I could take a guard. I could take a tackle. I want that, and I don't know. They have Miami mocked with an edge rusher here. The guy Dallas Turner from Alabama, but we got edge rushers, man. I mean, I guess you can't have enough. But I'd like offensive linemen just stack it on up, man. Just because Tua didn't get hurt at all last year doesn't mean that we can't improve the offensive line.
There's another mock here that has you guys picking Troy Fautanu, tackle out of Washington.
I like that. I would like that.
That's a little more like what you're looking for.
And it's been Chris Greer is Chris Greer, so he might finagle some moves up and down the board to try to capitalize on everything.
That's going to be the fun part to see.
Movement.
There's been, I don't think this is going to happen, but there is some talk about the Vikings potentially using Justin Jefferson as trade bait to potentially go all the way up to number 2. That would be absurd.
Yeah, man. It'll shake the whole butterfly effect.
Because apparently he's up for a new contract and he's trying to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. And the Vikings are like, I don't know if we want to do that.
Uh-oh.
But at the same time, it's like, you're going to go, I mean, the funnest part about if you become the next quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, the funnest part would be playing with Justin Jefferson.
So what? You think you invite me over and don't make dinner? What?
It's like, shit, I want to go there now.
Yeah, man. It's like getting to the girl house and she say her period on.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do that. Just so you know, there ain't no sex going on tonight. So you know.
She got it all hanging out up top, but she fucking Aunt Flo is in town down below. It's like, come on now.
Wow, that was our first real in-depth draft conversation. I like it. I feel ready, and I feel like I know these. I hope so too, man. I hope people didn't get bored and angry.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for checking it out, man. This is. You got anything more to say to add on?
No.
Yeah, I want to say one last thing, man. They have this mock draft on this Ringer site. Guess who the Steelers are mocked at number 20?
Who they got?
Adonai Mitchell.
Let's go.
No surprise, right?
I've seen other ones where they take my man, former Bulldog Amarius Mims, too. They like those Georgia boys up there.
They also like to get somebody people aren't even ready for as a receiver, and all of a sudden it's a star. So
yeah, because I think what's his name's daughter, Tomlin's daughter, goes to Georgia.
Oh, okay.
I think she goes to the University of Georgia, so she's got that dog in her, which is cool.
Oh, nice. All right, enough of that. We can get on out of here, man. It's time, man. Thank y'all for checking it out. We're glad to be back. We'll be back to talk about post-draft stuff, man. See what teams are doing after all 3 days are done. So thanks again. It's been Jonathan Rollins.
And Skip Misara.
With SveNFL. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Later, y'all.